What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Real Husbands of CofC. I'm Cardell, and of course, I got a genuine husband with me today.
Oh, genuine.
DJ Skrill.
Wiki.
Genuine.
Josh couldn't be with us today, but he's still a husband and he's still married.
No.
So, what's new on the horizon, Skrill? Like, what's been going on?
What's been going on?
Got the Posh Bar jumping off.
Yeah, pause.
Got your residency going on.
You know, yeah, I'm tired. Like always, you know, working about how many days I work now? About 4 days in that thing.
Dang.
Yeah. In addition to actually teaching. So I go teach the babies, come home for about an hour, 2 hours.
And then turn their parents up.
And treat the ratchets.
Turn them up.
Let's go.
Yep. Go home, you know. Whoo. Tired, boss. Tired. Then tonight we sold out, so it's about to be real lit. It's a movie.
It's movie night.
And I want Cardell to come through.
That's crazy, because Cardell won't be coming through.
When the last time you been out?
I'm too expensive to go out right now. I'm too expensive. You can't book me.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Like unless you can get me and the whole band.
Not me and the whole band.
Because you got Jonald, you got Rufus. Rufus got to have his own dressing room. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
Not Rufus.
Oh my God.
Rufus Isley. But anyway, man, the voice out here. We got a special guest today, CofC alum, producer, and one of my best friends, Shaquan Wingfield. Not we.
Right.
I said we.
Shaquan, you graduated from CofC.
Who is Shaquan, first of all?
That's what you got on your Instagram. I figured it was cool to say it.
Who calls me Shaquan out of our whole entire crew? Who?
Not one person.
Nobody.
Shay. I can't say Shaquan. I can call you, but I call you full name, your government. But Shay, you graduated from CofC.
Yes, I did.
You pursued a career in network television.
Well, I ended up in network television. I didn't think I would end up in network, but I made it. So,
and you landed a awesome producer's spot with one of the most prestigious shows in the industry right now.
That is accurate.
Yeah. So tell our audience and James, a little bit about your background and how you came about, doing what you do today.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm from the Foes. I'm from the Bird County in this thing. Y'all know how it go. And
you got so people who ain't from South Carolina.
I'm from Orangeburg, South Carolina, but if you from Orangeburg, then you know we the Foes.
We the
Charlotte, they claiming on Foes now.
There's only one, and that's Orangeburg Foes. That's where I'm originally from. I've always known that I wanted to do something within the industry, but writing is my thing. So I went to the College of Charleston, got a degree in mass communications, got an internship at WCSC Live 5 News. Charlestonians know that's the #1 news station in the Low Country. So that was my first real job. I worked there for like...
What were you doing there?
So I started out as a production assistant. So I started from the bottom. Like I was running scripts, cleaning, getting the anchors on set. Like I wasn't doing any writing. And then 10 months in, I started producing. So I was a producer for about 3 years there. I stayed there for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was there for a minute because I graduated 2013, and then I got the job like right after I graduated, and I was there till 2017, so about 3-4 years.
Which is rare. A lot of people don't get hired after they, graduate.
No,
especially in something that they want in a field that they want to be in. So
yeah, I was very blessed. I'm still very blessed. I'm so thankful. I worked there, and then I just was like, this ain't it. Like, I don't want to be in Charleston anymore. I had always gone back and forth. Like, I want to leave, but I was in a little relationship. So I was like, no, I'm going to just stay. And when that went south, I was like, I I'm gonna kind of go a little southeast. So I moved to Texas. I went southwest, actually. I went southwest.
You went to the in the middle of the Atlantic?
Shut up. I went southwest and I went to Houston, Texas. And Houston was the best experience I ever had. Like,
what you do there? What were you doing there?
So I was a producer for ABC 13 KTRK. That's a top 10 market. And they're the #1 news station in Texas. So
do you just have to say that? Because everything to me seemed like you just worked at the #1 spots. Like,
but you gotta say that. You gotta say it. Because if you're in news, you know the #1, you understand the market. So in Charleston, that was like number 94 at the time when I was working there. So I jumped from 94 to like 10 or 9 in the market. So that's a major, that does not happen often. Let me say that. Doesn't happen often. I was a producer there. And I stayed there for like 2 years. In the midst of being there, I got an email from a recruiter at CBS, and I thought it was a joke. I did not think it was real. I called my mama and I was like, Mama, some lady is offering me an interview with CBS this morning. And she was like, the show with Gayle King? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that's a scam. Don't do it. She was like, don't do it. They're gonna get all your information and hack your bank accounts. I was like, no, they're not. I'm gonna message her back on LinkedIn and I'm gonna see what she's talking about. But it was legit. And I had my first interview with her. And then I had the actual interview with my hiring manager who hired me. Shout out to John Tower. He's the GOAT. And the rest is history. I was actually at a wedding getting my makeup done because I was in one of my friend's weddings, and I got the call that I got the job. So yeah.
Well, I know you got lit after that.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And I came to Atlanta that same weekend, and I told Cardell and the rest of the crew, I was like, and every time I get a new job, I'll be like, y'all can't say it.
Don't tell nobody.
Y'all can't tell nobody. The stays between us.
Can you tell this now that you told us before you can tell?
Yes.
Okay.
And every time I finally go public with a job, Cardell will get on my page and be like, oh, so we telling everybody?
So
now?
we can tell people now?
Big secret of.
So my day-to-day when I worked it's called the broadcast center. So my day-to-day, I would get there, a car comes to get me, and they pick me up at like, I hate both of y'all.
No, you ain't even gotta drive.
Yes, I don't drive to work. I only catch the train to go home, but because of the hours and they don't want, I guess they had a lot of like issues with, people being sexually assaulted that hour in the morning. I have a driver that picks me up, and he'll come at like, well, I was living out of the city at that time, but now my driver would pick me up, take me to work. I get to work at 2 because that's what time my shift starts. When I get in, I read in on everything because we have producers that work in the day, so they're the ones that kind of set the scene for things. If there's any breaking news, like for example, this week we had the shooting at the FedEx facility, and that happened during my shift. So we gather as much information as we can. We find correspondents, send them out there if we can, and then I put together questions for our guests. When the Derek Chauvin trial started, I want to say that started last week or the week before last, we had breaking news that morning because that was the first day of the trial. So my job was to put together questions to ask our guests. So we had a legal analyst, we had Michael Eric Dyson, we had a few other people, and we just write questions so that the anchors can ask them during the interview. I'm a part of the live team, so I work with all the live guests. I've met quite a few celebrities doing that. And it's a real fun experience. I put together the graphics. So I order graphics to go with the segment. So like if we had Tiffany Haddish on a few weeks ago. So my responsibility was to make sure that the questions were right for her, fact checking things, making sure that what I'm asking is accurate and up to date and current, finding any new nuggets that we can ask her about, as well as finding pictures of her from like award shows or TV shows that she's been a part of and incorporating those in the live hit.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of it.
So, like, when you say you have a group together and basically y'all come up with these questions, because, like, in my head, when you said that, I was like, so y'all make what, like 5-10 questions, and then y'all just be like, hey, I got this question, read it out, and then be like, oh, no, that's trash, and go to the next.
like a war room.
It's kind of, it's actually, so it was so much better when we were actually in the broadcast center because my manager, my EP, which is an executive producer of the show, they're all right there. So they'll come to you and say, look, if they give us any pushback, like we want to follow it up with this question, like the goal is to pin them to the wall if need be, if it's one of those type of
right.
But if it's like Tiffany Haddish, it's going to be fun. So we just ask her a lot of fun questions. We ask her questions about any charity or charitable events she's a part of. It's real light, it's real fun. And we put the questions together and I'll go to my team and I'll say, hey, do we like this? And they may tell me, let's dig deeper. Like, that's too vague. Everybody's asking that. Like, no, we want to ask her about this or ask her about that. And that's how we bounce ideas off of each other, essentially.
Right. So, like you mentioned, being in the broadcast center was different from now. So now you're working from home.
Yes.
Like, I guess, what challenges have you seen between, other than communication and being right there with somebody and having that on-demand feel? Like, what other challenges have you ran into as a producer during live shows?
Working in network news in New York, of all places, is so competitive. So not having my face present and actually being able to speak up and be present and vocal for meetings, pitches, it's just harder. We have a new EP of our company now. So she has only met me once through a Zoom chat. And if you don't know the person, you tend to kind of stick with who you do know or the people that you are around. So I feel like it's kind of stopped me from getting on a lot of projects that I personally would want to work on. But it's just about reinventing yourself and figuring out, okay, well, I'm just going to blow your email up because I want this opportunity and I want you to give it to me. Training is harder. The shift that I currently work, I eventually want to move up, but it's just harder because you can't go in the building to get the training that you need. And so they're trying to figure out how to train through Zoom and all that other stuff. We have virtual meetings like every day, and that's exhausting because we're not there, we're not present. So it makes it a lot more difficult. But the plus is I can work from anywhere. I can work here, I can work in Houston, I can work in South Carolina, I can be wherever. And I do like that aspect, but.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next. You kind of asked the question. That was gonna be my follow up. Like, it is a competitive industry, and you obviously, someone saw something in your work ethic to offer you the job. Now, how do you? And you kind of mentioned it, emailing, and you only met your EP once in person. Like, how do you kind of navigate showing yourself, and this is what I can do, and I guess working from home and being able to run a successful show, I think that speaks for itself. So I mean, you kind of got an opportunity. I don't have to be in the studio to show you that I can still have a good show.
Right.
So I mean but you kind of answered that question. So let's dial it back a little bit. Let's go back. So
Cardell's trying to do your job right now on the show.
He
showing you what's good, right?
You're doing good though.
I'm securing your back. But look, let's dial it back because we like to cater to our younger audience, our college age. We are the real husbands of CofC, and this is kind of our way of giving back to CofC. We like to highlight our alumni and show current students like this is potentially where you can go or what you can do. So your experience at the College of Charleston, let's talk about that. I guess you were in that phase where communication had shifted curriculum. So
I graduated, like I was in the old program, and as soon as I graduated, it shifted to the new program.
Right.
And so I got kind of lucky.
Yeah.
I got kind of lucky. But my time at CofC, for most people, they know I transferred to CofC. I was at CSU my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I transferred my sophomore year, and I was like, what am I doing here? Because I did not want to be at CofC. I wanted to be in Atlanta at Spelman. That was my plan.
So why CofC? Why did you choose CofC?
What happened?
Because my dad got real sick, and eventually he passed.
That's right.
At the end of my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave my mom. Like, I was like, I'm gonna just stay. I'm so thankful that I did that because CofC gave me so many great opportunities. I met some amazing people, such as you guys. Yes. I met so many great people. I had a lot of fun. I did not think I was gonna have that much fun at a predominantly white institution.
Yeah.
I did not think I was gonna have that much fun, but I had so much fun. I'm so grateful for my experience. And CofC taught me, I know we talk a lot, especially in this climate, we talk a lot about the benefits of HBCUs, which, you know, eventually when I have children, I do hope my children go to an HBCU, but we don't talk enough about the benefits as being a person of color, a Black woman, a Black man being at a PWI, and the things that are instilled in us, because we have to work 20 times harder than our white peers. Like, no one is cutting us any slack. You're not, it's so different being at a PWI. Like, HBCUs are amazing. I take nothing from them, but I do feel like there's within our community, we're so used to those gatekeepers that hold our hand and, you okay, baby? Like, PWIs, you don't get that.
You don't get it at all.
We don't have that cushion. Like, you either gonna get your butt in that classroom and do what you need to do, or they will nicely write you off and keep it moving. Yeah, They don't care. So
do you have someone that you can think of, I don't know, a favorite, it could be a favorite, not favorite, a professor or an advisor that kind of gave you that push? So, not that holding your hand, but the kind of you need to get it into gear.
This is bad because I don't remember none of my professors' names. I just remember the classes they taught. I had a rhetoric professor. I don't remember his name, white guy. But when I tell y'all, he was the most amazing professor I ever had. He taught rhetoric within media. And I went through a phase, my first 2 years at CofC, my sophomore and junior year, I think I was still grieving my dad. So I was like, not worried about school. But it was that class that made me like, okay, you need to get it together because you have this goal, you have this dream. You're not gonna get to it sitting over here crying every day, being depressed, moping around. And it wasn't even that I was moping around. I just played so much sophomore and junior year. When I met Cardell and being around Ben and all of them, I played so much. And the thing about it, Ben and I talk about this all the time. Ben and I would play with them and they were passing their classes and Ben and I were failing. Because I don't know when they studied. Because we would stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning playing. But whatever. whatever.
Yeah.
I did take a African American history course.
C's get degrees. That's what they say.
African American theater. Was it that?
No, it was
No.
like a
African American history? Matheny?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Now that was my favorite class. That was probably the only class that I had with a black professor, with black half of CFC, the black
Bro,
part
we
of
all were
CFC
in
was
there.
in my class.
Right.
So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that class, and that was just like a. I don't even know why I took that class, but I'm glad I did. It was a really good class. I really enjoyed it. I remember they went on a trip to, where'd they go? Barbados?
Yep.
I didn't go. But they went and they had so much fun, and I wish I would have went. But it was just like moments like that at CFC that I really appreciate. But it also taught me how competitive my field is and how hard I had to work. Because even now, like a lot of my colleagues, they're fresh out of college working at Network News. Like that was not my journey. Like these kids, but their parents are plugged in. You know what I mean? Like, and I tell everybody this, it's not what you know, it is who
you know.
Always.
That is the biggest.
It's not what you know. It's actually not who you know sometimes. It's how you know them.
That's true too.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can know somebody. I know a lot of people in the industry, but they ain't plugging me in.
But it's also just about, but you know something about that too? That has been my biggest saving grace. Like, I know how to talk to people. Yeah. And I know I'm always nervous about, I don't want them to think I'm using them. No, like it never ask, hey, do you know such a, because you never know who that person knows that they can put you in contact with. And that's how I've gotten a lot of my jobs. That's how I've gotten a lot of opportunities. It's just talking to people.
Yep, that's it. I think.
Go ahead.
But I think also, like, to piggyback off of that, I think it just comes with a respect thing too. Like, just knowing how, like you said, how to communicate with somebody, that's always a positive thing, but also keeping that communication constant. And that's where a lot of people mess up, because you can, like you said, Cardell, you can have all these industry people in your Rolodex, your phone. You know, we don't have Rolodex anymore, but you can have those people in the back pocket. And the thing is, if you don't talk to them, then it's going to come off as if you're using them, versus like, bro, I hit people all the time. I be like, yo, what you doing? What's up? What's good? Just checking in on them, just so they know, like, okay, you're still relevant in my life. Like, we cool. We can go out, get these drinks, but at the same time, we can get this business done.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to skip over it. That's a good point, James. I didn't want to skip over what you said about the differences in HBCUs and PWIs. No, I think the first step to that, and I don't want to go, because we can go on this all day, but I don't want to go too deep in it. But I think the first step is we need to stop comparing them as if one is better than the other. First of all,
right.
Second thing is, like you said, we need to own or capitalize on going to a PWI and actually succeeding in that. And a lot of that is a lot of people can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? We've seen people crack. We've seen them get into this mental state of, it becomes challenging. I'm used to this, but then I get introduced to this, and a lot of them they either fail or they leave, or they have mental breakdowns. We seen that year after year while we were there, even now. But that is another discussion. That's something we're gonna have to have on a larger scale. But I wanted to ask you this question right here, and I'm gonna expand on it. I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna expand on it. What keeps you going? So think about that. You're far from home. You're far from family, friends, and yet it doesn't deter you from pursuing your dream. What keeps you on course? And I ask that because a lot of people who want to do what you're doing, they lack the drive to take that leap. Because they tend to fall into trends of playing it safe. It's safe to be close to home. It's safe to be around people you've known for a long time. But what keeps you from quitting?
Oh, well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm from Orangeburg, South Carolina. If you have been to Orangeburg, there's nothing there.
So what do you have to come back to?
I'm not coming back to anything. And I did go through a period where I was getting comfortable.
Mhm.
I think women naturally, we are nurturers. We are driven by emotions more than logic. And so naturally we fall into a routine where we think, okay, I'm comfortable here. When I lived in Houston, I got very comfortable. I had great friends. I had my job was it was decent, it was good. I liked my job. I had an amazing social life. So I was happy, and then but there's always something inside of me that is constantly like, you're not doing enough. This isn't it. You're settling, you're getting content. Like, come on, we gotta go harder. This is not the end for us. I just know I haven't hit that end goal yet. I can't tell you what the end goal is because I don't know what it is, but I just know I haven't hit it.
Yeah.
And so, I have a responsibility in my mind to, make sure my mom is good, to, I wanna put Orangeburg on the map. I wanna put South Carolina on the map, because that's home. So that keeps me going. Just knowing that I have people looking up to me, and I have goals and I'm not there yet. So
There is no end goal, by the way. There's no end. There's an end goal for that specific goal, and then you make new goals, and then you
Yeah.
make goals, and you keep
That's
doing
it.
That's a never ending thing. I think religious. I don't know if you're religious or not. I know you are, but I'm just saying to the
I was
audience,
about to say, you know I am.
people, God gave us the gift of imagination, and the gift that we return to Him is to dream, right? So, and it'll be a slap in God's face to dream small. Like if your dreams aren't big, and and then your dreams don't get bigger, if you just, like you said, you started settling, but when you started to move past playing it safe, that's when you started seeing stuff come to you. So I think keep dreaming, man. Don't don't stop now. That's what
I'm not, no. But okay, I got a question for y'all because I want to get this in. You all are married. I am not. But I have met so many men that are like, they like the idea of me because I have my own career, but it just don't go nowhere because I think they become intimidated by my job. Why is that? Do I need to be a bum to like make a man feel secure? Like I
wouldn't say you need to be a bum per se. I think
please don't dial your life back for somebody.
Right. That's one
I'm
thing
not
you should
doing
never do. But I think with you being such an independent individual, I think a lot of men, especially with pride things, that does get to them just a little bit. But the thing is, those men are trash. So like literally, like for real, like okay, if you have a woman that can, say, hey babe, you want to go and do this, let's take a trip, and she says, I'm gonna handle it. That's a privilege. Don't look at that as like, oh, dang, she got all this money now.
You don't need
like,
me.
Right, you don't need me. Don't be like that. I think it's cool that you can have both of those things. But I think a lot of men, they do get into their heads about that situation, particularly just because it's like, well, shoot, if she can take care of all of that, what she need me for? You know what I mean? And I think like that has to change in the man's head, where he just gotta be mature enough to accept that too.
Yeah.
Like, bro, don't you just immature if you can't accept this greatness.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
That's really it. Like, it's just like you're immature or you're mature enough to accept someone being, who just got their stuff together. like that's a positive. But a lot of men, they do like to take care of women who don't have all of it. Like for some reason, every man wants to be Captain Save a Hoe. Not calling everybody a hoe, but they always want to save.
They do.
Like that's that what do you call that? That fantasy. You know, it's always like there's that princess who's stuck in the castle. I'm trying to be the knight to save them. That's how men usually think about situations, because say, oh, I don't have enough money for this. Baby, I got all the money. Or right, the guy always, just like my wife just said, they always want them to be the damsel in distress. Like
yeah.
They love that. I mean, that's their biggest thing. Like even think about guys just in a club. Why do guys go to the club? To buy the girl a drink, to get their number and all of that. Like that's just, you don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to do anything. I got it for you. Like it's always that attachment there. But if you coming off like Shay and being like, bro, I got it.
That's the thing. That do you say things like, I'm independent, I don't need no man? But when you
I used to, but I learned really quick, y'all's egos are like you, and I'm learning not to do that. But I also am in a space where it's like, because back in the day, I ain't had it like I got it now. So now it's kind of like, okay,
you're adjusting to it too.
Yes, I'm still trying to adjust to this part of my life too, being more financially stable and good. So it's like, I don't want a man to feel like
less.
Right. So it's that balance, trying to figure out that balance to like stroke your ego, but also not dim my light.
See, here's the thing though. I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, tell me why.
I don't think that. I think that if now I don't know. I'm not saying the guys thought like this. Like, all right, you know, she make too much money for me to be in her life because I don't make enough money to meet her needs. I think you're dealing with some basic dudes. Right. So I mean, like.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say in the stroking the ego thing, you can't feed your ego and your family. I'm a married man, so I mean, if that was a thing, like, I mean, you might as well just be alone. So I don't expect Serena to feed my ego. I mean, she's a neuroscientist. I will, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was worried about how much money somebody was making, and that's a thought in my mind of will our partnership work if she makes more money than me? I'm worrying about the wrong things. Right. So I would say, I don't know, let me ask you this. Are you meeting guys who, are they doing anything with their lives?
Yeah, I've met quite a few guys that they're good. Like, but it's just something, I don't know. Well, that's another
you don't need saving. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Don't need saving. See, I don't even know if that's it. I can't tell you what it is or what you need to look for, because I don't think like that. So I can't tell you what those guys are thinking or what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of like, do you continue to shop around? Like, how do you meet somebody? What are the conversations you having beforehand, before you start dating? Or during the dating period? Like, are y'all talking about money? You know, what is his thoughts on gender?
I honestly try to stay away from that. I try to stay away from, I don't try to, like, the initial meeting, I don't try to jump right in and be like, oh, I work on the Gayle King show. You know, because
if he asks you though, like, what do you do for a living?
I'll say I'm a producer.
Okay. What you make music?
They always say that too.
You make music?
You make music? And I'll say, no, I'm a music producer. I work
the first thing I think was, she a producer, she make music. What, you got a SoundCloud? Let me hear it. What you do for money though? That's what
That's your side hustle.
That's your side hustle. What you do for money? But
what
do you say?
I'm just like, I'm a producer for television. I work in news.
Okay.
And I try to keep it vague, because that's another issue I found. When you start saying, oh yeah, I work at CBS for the Gayle King show, then it's like dollar signs go off. Like, ooh.
But then that'll
She
be
got money.
That's a red flag.
Like, whoa.
That's a red flag for me, because if I say if you just say I produce for television, and he say, oh, okay, that's cool. If he don't dig in deeper, I don't think he's that interested.
Oh, see, I never looked at it that way.
No, so I would keep that energy, and that'll let you know, okay, I produce for television, network television, okay. And then if he say, well, cool, so you want to get, you know what I'm saying? Like if he changed the subject, I don't think he's that interested in what you're saying. So I mean, is he interested enough to pursue something? He'll ask more questions about what you do.
Right.
You know, but if he's not going
if he
that,
just keep going, he's just trying to get the booty.
Yeah.
That's it. Cause that's true. Like the thing is, it's all like we would talk about this all the time. Like it is always about communication. Like you stating your job and he just going and being like, oh, bet. So what do you like, bro? If he doesn't actually go in, cause that's the thing. I would have been like, so where? Like what television show or da-da-da-da. Like I want to know all of that because he's getting to know you.
Right.
Who y'all had on the show? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Did you get to meet them?
Like all of that. We would have talked about that for I don't know, like an hour, 2 hours, just based on
I'd have been telling my friends, hey bro, you know she a doctor. What kind of doctor? She a neurosurgeon. I'd have been messing it all up. She fixed brains.
But I feel, because I say that all the time, that all my single friends, I just feel bad for y'all because y'all have it so
it's ghetto.
hard.
It's so ghetto out here. And people's intentions aren't pure. They're not pure. Like you can meet guys and clearly I know what they want. And it's like, I'm sorry. The last girl might have told you she's not that type of girl. I'm really not that type of girl. Like, I'm not having it. You gonna whine, you gonna dine, it's not about to be I'm about to take you to. It's like, and that makes it bad too, because nothing really impresses me anymore. Like nothing. So I don't care about money. I don't care about materialistic things. I care more about effort, time. It's like men don't understand. Some guys, obviously y'all get it, but most guys don't get it.
I don't know. I like I said, I don't know what they're thinking. My thoughts were in pursuit was at the end of my pursuit, I want to be able to say, I'm gonna make this person my forever. So while I was pursuing, I was intentional about everything. So I wanted to know, we talked about everything, background, childhood, religion, money, you know what I'm saying? Like kids, all that stuff came up. Like I was pursuing her with intention to marry. So I don't.
That's also maturity, Cardell. That like all the things that you're saying, the intentions are there based on your mature level. Like if you're not there, you still wanting to, still be out here with your boys. Like I was just talking to one of my homies the other day who's in a relationship, but he'd rather be out with his boys most of the time. His girl will be like, bro, why he always want to be out? And I'm like, I don't know, like his mind is not there on the actual pursuing of just her. His mind is truly on like, I'ma just have fun, I don't care, like she already here, so I ain't gotta worry about nothing, type stuff like that. So that's what his mind is, but that's also a single man's thoughts.
Yeah.
So because the thing is, it's not like she, like, they don't even do much right now. Like they on the fence basically, and I'm just like, bro, just amp it up. Like just do simple things, because that's the thing. Most women love the very simple things. It's just like you said, the time, the effort,
That's not a lot to ask for.